live, and wow, I'm having some amazing discussion with Kirti just before we started. Kirti, nice to see you here.
Nice to see you, Tejaswini.
Fantastic, and good evening, wonderful ladies, and welcome to the Transform Her Learning Hub for Women. And we have these knowledge nugget series every month where we touch on different topics on monthly basis. And the last few months, we have started with this initiative of the Power Hours, where we have a special guest come in and talk about their businesses, talk about their uniqueness and what they really do as their expertise in their own business, right? So our special guest for today in the Power Hour for August is Kirti Datar. Kirti, we want to welcome you once again.
Thank you so much, Tejaswini.
Yeah. So just before we begin, let me first thank our members. Thank you for being a part of Transform Her, which is a learning hub for women. And I know there's a whole lot of curiosity in people when they want to promote their products. So for promoting your products, you have the group called as Zestpreneurs, and you can go and do as much as promotion there, and you can post 2 times in a day. I have no issues. But this particular group that we have, the Transform Her Learning Hub, is specifically focused towards learning, where I get in a lot of learning stuff here, get a lot of people, get guests, so that we learn from each other's experiences. And you never know who's going to strike what chord between someone, or get inspired by someone and do something amazing in life. And that's where this platform is all about. So we are in the Facebook Live Knowledge Nugget series, and I am so excited. I'm always excited when I come here in this particular forum. So before we really begin, quite a few of you must be knowing me by now, but yes, again, for the people who don't know me, a quick short introduction about myself. I'm Tejaswini Prasad. I'm a business strategist, transformation expert, and an author of 10 Secrets to Enrich Your Entrepreneurial Journey. And you are going to find the link of this book in your message, as soon as you actually join the group. So if for a couple of weeks you have not found it, you'll be getting it very soon. Yeah. So, Kirti, actually, Transform Her is an initiative to energize, empower, and elevate women to take inspired actions, grow their brand, and create an impact and build a business and life they love. And my ultimate goal and mission for this group is to share knowledge, expertise, success, failures, and actionable strategies to help you achieve your goals and dreams, and make a difference in what you do, right? So, that's it. And let's get started. Kirti, I'm so happy to have you here. Thanks for your time. And ladies, let me give you a quick introduction of our guest today. So Kirti has over 12 years of extensive corporate experience in the field of IT, and she works with MBA HR in international business. And she has been very a technical person. She has had a lot of technical competencies. I know she had been teaching a lot of technical people. She was actually very good at it, and she's an astute observer and thinker, and has a liking for building business plans around innovative ideas, and that is what she has exactly done with her own business. And you can see the amount of success that they have got through it, right? So she was always fascinated by the way the Western countries have built their marketable products and scalable businesses. And looking at those things, she has had some basic things that she has learned and tried to implement that. So she realized that it's not about what you do as much how you do it. And I think with Kirti that is so important, because what you do could be really similar to what other people are doing, but how you do it is actually making a lot of difference, and that we can see in your business very clearly, right? So with her entrepreneurial drive, she, along with her husband Milind Datar, started this venture as Connector, right? Care and Nectar,
Yeah.
which has radically transformed the fresh sugarcane juice business. Now, a very traditional thing coming out into a business plan, coming out like an innovative idea, and great success is what Kirti has done. And they have been featured in various magazines like Lokmat and lot of magazines, in fact, and I can have a list of them going on. She has also been called upon on various talk shows for their business idea, the innovative way they are doing things, and her company has been selected by Goldman Sachs for their business growth plan, the innovation, and the process that they have put in place. So it will be really a pleasure to know from you as an entrepreneur about your business and share as to how this really happened. So great pleasure again having you here. So over to you, and I want to know from you. Tell us about your story. You know, how did you get into business? What from that corporate life, and how did you reach out here doing completely different, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much, Tejaswini, for a wonderful introduction, I would say. And I'm really glad to be connected with you here on this wonderful platform today. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, as you know, I have been into IT and I have been into hardcore technical training and stuff like that. And what transformed or what changed was, so my husband Milind and I, we always liked to toy around new ideas and see how this can be made into business and all. So we used to keep exploring many such things. And one fine day, it so happened that it was a summertime, and we were having a glass of sugarcane juice on the roadside stall. So, I mean, of course, the way sugarcane juice is being served traditionally or conventionally, normally it's not very hygienic and all that. But just because we liked the taste of the drink, and summer is the time when you can't just, let it go. So, I remember we used to take our own paper glasses and ask that juice person to be hamari glass mein dijiye and stuff like that.
I so understand this.
So, one particular day we were having this juice, and suddenly our attention was caught. There was a cafe coffee day right across the street, and our attention was caught by a group of youngsters who walked out of CCD and they were trying to click a selfie. And when they were clicking the selfie, they were ensuring that CCD ka logo comes into their frame and all that. And we both were like looking at them, and we said, "Yeah, this new generations take so much pride in having this coffee at CCD and all, and this poor sugarcane juice, no one even looks at it." Kind of.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
But the matter of fact is, it's like it's a cultural drink. It's natural. It's so healthy, and it has so many health benefits. So we were like, yeah, this drink is completely ignored, and that was for the obvious reasons, because no one has bothered to uplift the position or the circumstances under which this particular product is being sold. Like, someone took a cup of coffee and made a cafe coffee day out of it.
True.
So then we're like, why is sugarcane juice still a roadside drink? People love the taste of it. It has its benefit. It's a local produce. The farmers are connected. So we could suddenly see, oh yeah, there's some potential in here, and there's a market gap. And people love this drink, but they have stopped consuming it because it's not being served hygienically. So we looked at each other and we were like, okay, is this our eureka moment? Kind of thing. we got that pulse there, okay, that probably we have come across a business opportunity.
Idea, right? Yeah.
When you see a problem and when you figure out that there's no, I mean, it's not that a particular problem doesn't have a solution, just that someone has not worked towards developing that solution yet.
True, absolutely.
Yeah, so then that day we went back home, we Googled, and we just saw that maybe, in Pune it's not there, maybe in Mumbai they might have a better store, in Delhi they might have a better store. So we Googled it and we found that, no, it's not that sugarcane juice, Google be searchable jaisa kuch nahi ho raha hai, when you search in Google, nothing comes as a sugarcane juice stall, because you have all these roadside Navnath, Kanifnath and those kind of, stalls. So, like, yeah, this is a market opportunity. There's a business opportunity that we have here. So that's how our journey started. And we both were working at that time in IT. And so what we did was we started our research. Basically, we thought, okay, if we have to make a brand out of a product, we have to have a lot of standardizations. We need to have a completely organized way of doing things. We can't just take any random sugarcane, crush juice out of it, and just give it in an air conditioned shop and then call it a brand. No, it's not that. So that's where a lot of entrepreneurs, kind of mistake. When they try to create a brand, they think, okay, just improving the aesthetic of the shop or the place where they're selling is sufficient enough to create a brand. But actually, that's not the case. You need to have a very strong foundation in terms of standardizations, in terms of specifications of the raw material that you're using. How do you maintain the consistency, the uniformity, month on month, year on year? So those kind of things are something which makes something as a robust business model. So what we did at that point of time was, for the next few months, we kept on doing a lot of research on sugarcane. I mean, sugarcane is a very basic product, where, like, since childhood we all have been drinking cane juice, but probably we don't even know what are the number of varieties of cane that are there, or at what age the sugarcane should be harvested, and a lot of science is there behind it. So what we did was, we did research. We went right up to Sugarcane Research Institute in Coimbatore. We spent 1 week of time with the scientists there. We read various research papers. We understood the varieties, the nutritional values, then what age at which, when you harvest it, then what is the sugar content, and what is appropriate for regular consumption for people, so that they don't have issues with sugar spiking and stuff like that. So after all those research of close to 3 months, we defined our own specifications. That, okay, out of all these varieties, this is the variety that we want. This is the age at which we want to harvest, and a lot of specifications, the diameter, lot of things we defined there. Then after that, we went and we started looking for farms around Pune who could supply us that kind of sugarcane throughout the year. So we had to do contract farming, because we didn't want to, the idea was that when sugarcane is grown in a particular environment, so that soil or the quantity of amount of rainfall, these factors also impact the quality of sugarcane. So when we started hunting every weekend, I remember we used to take out our Scorpio and just visit one area and go to 10 farms, talk to farmers, and they thought these guys have gone crazy.
and you know what? That's a sign of a great entrepreneur. When people say you're crazy, you're actually doing something.
I mean, when they tell them the specifications and the requirements, they're like, "आप लोग पागल हो गए हो, गन्ने के ऊपर इतना कोई नहीं research करता है, because for them, otherwise what they would do with their sugarcane is, they would grow sugarcane and forget about it. Then at the end of 15 months or whatever, the sugar factory would come. It will harvest the entire cane in one single day, and then that's it. Nothing else has to be done. And here we are going and talking to them, saying that, okay, I want a certain specification of cane throughout the year. Now, most important, every month I want the same age of sugarcane. So let's say if I'm taking, for example, 12 months old cane. So I need
a 12 month. Okay.
Like, आप लोग पागल हो गए, ऐसे आपको कोई नहीं दे सकता है करके. And like, okay, there would be someone who would understand what we are trying to do here, and then we kept on exploring until we could figure out actually someone who belongs to a village but lives in an urban environment, has done his post graduation and stuff like that, so he could understand the vision that we were carrying and what we were talking about, and that's how eventually we could finalize a particular area, and we did a contract farming with those farmers. So now, that initial part was very challenging. Even after we've done the contract farming and all, I still remember that initial few days, like 5 days, 6 days, they gave the cane to us, and then again 7th day they're like, "Boss, this is not possible. We'll not be able to do this because this is what you are expecting is a bit too complex." We have defined so many specifications and parameters. I mean, if I have to give you an example, so when they harvest the sugarcane from the farm, we don't bring the cane as it is. We get it completely peeled, and then we cut them into small pieces, like 1.5 feet long. So when we cut them into small pieces, we have to discard the upper part of the cane, because generally that is not wheat. Okay, then we discard the lower part of the cane because it has a lot of roots and stuff like that with it. So eventually what we are taking is just the middle part of the cane, and then we are expecting them to do that whole sorting also based on the diameter and stuff like that. So I mean, we defined very tough specifications, but then we made them premium. We gave them premium price. I mean, if I have to quote here, generally sugar factories would give the farmers the rate approximately around 2,500 to 2,700 per ton. That's the way they do it. Whereas we started with 10,000 rupees a ton. So it's like we are paying
premium.
yeah, very premium, So that is where we said, okay, because see, we are able to get that premium value for this product from the consumer. So that is where we're able to pass this on also to the farmer. But yeah, initially it was tough for them to understand, but then initially we kind of handheld them. I remember Milind and I, either of us would go to farm and sit with them and educate them. So we spent actually a lot of months at the farm until they were, able to understand how to actually do this whole thing. And that's how this all started. And you'll not believe it's been 8 years now, and till this day we are taking sugarcane from the same set of farmers with whom we had started day one. Yeah, with whom we had started day one. And in fact, as the days passed by and months passed by, then they could actually realize the value, because one, we were paying them premium, and two, more important things, we made them weekly payments. So generally what happens is sugar factory would pay them like once in a year or once in 1.5 years. So that's like they don't have money coming in. But when we are paying them on every Monday for the previous week of sugarcane that we have taken from them, that's where that made a huge difference in their lifestyle and in their entire socioeconomic status of that particular village, basically. So basically we tied up with one particular farmer whom we call as a farm leader, and he has a set of farmers under him also. So he manages this, he understood this whole thing and he manages this for us. But the idea is, I mean, in fact, even the farmer, when we started at that time, this farm leader, he had like 7 acres of farm for him. And today he has more than 40 acres of farm.
Wow, that's amazing. That's like you're helping them also grow along with you. That's wonderful.
That's important. It's very important, because when we when people like us get involved into such kind of businesses, then we can actually bring in the value on the table. And that value is for everyone. The value is for the consumer, because consumers earlier who were hesitant about drinking sugarcane juice are now having it, without anything to worry about. And the value to the farmers, because now they're getting so much better value for their produce. So it's a complete value chain that gets created, and that's how brands are actually established. Because it's an inclusion process. You have to include everyone and ensure that everyone is benefited in the chain. And that's how your business can grow, basically.
Absolutely. That's such a wonderful, I mean, the way it started is amazing to know. And I think you've been just doing a great deal by doing this. I have not had sugarcane juice for n number of years, because one fine year, as you said, we were in the tapri where, they actually serve it. And the hygiene was so bad that after that, I never, ever had at least over here. Last year when I was in Singapore, and it's very common, I think, in countries out there, sugarcane juice is pretty common. And then we were having that, I thought of you. I said, oh my God, these guys are doing that, and it's so amazing. Look at the way things happen here. I hope the same thing happens in India as well. So I can really understand what you're saying, and it's so important, because that's one.
We actually started our kiosks in the corporate cafeterias, then basically. So all major IT companies in Pune, like Infosys, Wipro, Cognizant, Tech Mahindra, TCS. So in their food courts, because we realized that of course IT people are the ones who are a lot more health conscious and hygiene conscious, because for the very reason that they've traveled all over the world, they understand what it is, the value of something, if it is hygienic or if it is of a premium quality. So we started our model in corporate cafeterias, and we had over 15 outlets in different companies, and that is how we have been running and scaling it up for the past 8 years now.
That's super. That's lovely.
Yes.
So having this unique thought and coming up with all these things, what are your thoughts on actually having a unique business idea and how important is it? After you started this, I can really understand. I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, business owners, and I come across many businesses who have unique ideas in the way they're doing it. But I want to know from you, because this is a unique stuff that you've come up with, uh, how important it is for a business to think of this uniqueness.
Right. See, Tejaswini, I would want to clarify here, when we say uniqueness, it is often misunderstood that when you want to do something unique, your product or your service should be unique.
That's
But
not the case, actually. Yeah.
that's not the case, right? I mean, see, when you talk about sugarcane juice, it's been there all over, right? I mean, we don't even know the number of years since sugarcane juice has been there. So quite often it happens that entrepreneurs keep hunting for ideas and the inspirations, and like, okay, I've met a lot of people who'd come to us and they're like, I want to start a new business. What do you think I should do? What is a new idea I should play with? So we always say that see, the concept has to be unique. The product in itself may not be unique.
Yeah.
Because you can take anything. I often say that you can take a simple vada pav also and make a brand out of it. You can take simple. So the product is basic. It need not be very complex, or it need not be some very specialization kind of thing. Because what happens is, then a lot of people feel, oh, I don't have any specialization. What business should I do? So my point is, okay, those who have specializations, yes, they can do some specialized kind of things. But even people who don't have a specialization, they should not feel something is lacking or there's nothing that they can do about it. So the uniqueness has to be in the way you are weaving the business around it. The way you're defining your processes, the way you're defining your entire offering, that has to be really unique. And that uniqueness has to come from the problems that we are facing in day-to-day life.
True.
Right?
Absolutely. And I completely believe that, two businesses on the similar stuff can be operating in a completely different way, So that's the uniqueness we're talking about. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. So that is very important thing for people to remember while they are starting any business, or even where they are scaling up their business. Sometimes what happens is, people say they start a business and they say, there's a lot of competition around. You find that competition because you're not having a differentiator for yourself. So if you are able to define your USP, your own differentiator, then honestly, the competition doesn't exist. It just doesn't exist.
Absolutely. You just got to create things, and competition is always going to be there, but it's the way you look at it, right? Fabulous. So, great, Kirti. Nice really knowing this. Do you have any specific inputs for women entrepreneurs, especially as far as running, with this type of, I would not really say uniqueness over here, but I would say a different, set, a different vision with which you're going. The product is very common, but you're going with a different, mindset, or going with a complete innovative way of doing it, So what is some specific inputs that you would like to give some of the women who are watching this here?
Sure thing. So, a few things I would want to say here, that one important aspect of doing the business is that you should be able to adapt to the current situation. Often we get stuck. For example, if I have to give you our business example again, when we were running this business for the past 7-8 years, we were scaling it up. We did a lot of technology implementation, automation and all, but our model was precisely about corporate cafeterias. Okay. Then came COVID, and when COVID came, the corporate cafeterias have closed down.
Yeah, so that's what I want to ask you. What is that impact of pandemic on this whole business of yours? How has that really?
Okay, so I will tell you the impact of pandemic. It has been a huge impact because we are into the service industry, especially into corporate cafeterias. And because we're in corporate cafeterias, starting I think 28th March or something, the cafeterias got closed and they are still not open. So essentially our business was completely closed when the lockdown happened. But initially when the lockdown happened, none of us knew how long it was going to last. So we thought, okay, it's a matter of a few days, and it will just open up. Initially, we thought it's 14 days, and that's how it went on increasing. So what we did was, since the business was closed, there was no revenue, there was no work for us. We just, but okay, now as an entrepreneur, you don't essentially always work for money. You work because you like to work. Okay, so when the lockdown happened, our business is closed. Okay, now every day we have like 100 calls, mails, this, that, and now suddenly nothing is happening because business is closed. No raw material is coming, no employees are coming to work, no sales are happening, no accounting is happening. Now what do? I get up in the morning, I have my breakfast. Now what? So there was where something, a void was there, and we thought, okay, we can't just sit idle and do nothing. So what we did was, my husband and I, we just started a small social initiative at that time. We thought, okay, we have all the time on this earth, and the pandemic was a little chaotic situation initially, especially when the lockdown was implemented. So we thought, okay, let's get into some kind of social initiative. So we started a small social initiative with our own funds. Initially, we donated a few things to through police people. There was a lockdown at that time, so we had to route everything through police people. So we donated few things. We interacted with them. We tried to understand what is needed, so we could support them and all. So it just started as one of our own initiative, but eventually it so happened that the requirement kept on growing. Then some of our friends, they joined us, and slowly and gradually we grew that social initiative like an enterprise. I mean, yeah, I mean, we created this initiative called as Donate Meal Pune. I mean, we are not an NGO, we are just individuals basically. But within a matter of time, we could raise enough funds that we have donated over 2 lakh meals in Pune during the pandemic. And we also donated a lot of sanitizers and masks and all those things to police people, and throughout the lockdown phase. So when we started it, we thought it's just for 14 days. But then again 14 days, and then again 21 days, and it went on going, and we were like, okay, there's a demand, there's a need, the business is anyways closed, so let's utilize our time and energy in this. We created a nice social page, we kept on giving social updates. So we ran that initiative as we are running an enterprise. And as an entrepreneur, you know that you can take up anything from scratch and scale it up, organically, because if you're doing it in an organized way, doesn't matter what you're doing. Again, it matters how you execute. So it just went on growing, and while doing those things, we realized that it was a summer time also. So all those police people were deployed everywhere. So one particular such donation drive, we also spent the entire day on the field, and we realized that it was very scorching summer, and we felt very dehydrated by the end of the day. So that's when we thought, okay, we felt bad that it's so much of heat is there, and we have sugarcane juice business, and we are not able to serve sugarcane juice to police people. So we are feeling a little pinch because we are into fresh sugarcane juice. We are not into packaging of the drink and all. So we thought, okay, how we are not able to, we want to do something for them. So that constant itch that an entrepreneur has, that okay, I want to solve this problem. There's a problem, I want to solve it, kind of thing. Like, juice अपने पास ये product है, हम नहीं पिला पा रहे हैं, and all that. So we kept on brainstorming, and then someone said कि ठीक है, there's a summer season, we'll make this raw mango का panna, aam panna, and we will serve that to police people. But during the COVID time, if we have to serve something to police people, it means we had to maintain the hygiene. So we couldn't just take them in barrels or cans and give it to them. It had to be packaged also. So then they said, okay, you all have food license. Why don't we package it in your brand name and do it? But now, initially we said yes, but then we thought, okay, Aam Panna is made from a lot of sugar. And we as a company, we stand for sugarcane juice, which is natural sugar. And we don't promote sugar-laden drinks. That's where sugarcane juice is something which we have committed to. So we thought, now this is the problem. We can't, as a company, as a brand, I cannot have a packaged drink which is made from sugar. So that's when we started thinking what can be done, and we thought, okay, let's try making this Aam Panna from sugarcane juice. Because ultimately it's the sugar and the water that you put in it, right? So we thought, okay, let's try how this works out. So we did few experiments, we did some R&D. During the lockdown phase, we managed to bring sugarcane, a little sugarcane, maybe 10 kg from all the way from the farm, because everything else was closed in the city at that time. And we did few experiments, and we realized it has come out well. So then we thought, okay, let's make this thing called as Ganna Panna. We gave a name to it, Ganna Panna, because we are making it from sugarcane. And we just manufactured 5,000 bottles at that time during the lockdown in the month of May. and we distributed it to all the police people all across the Pune. Now, when this whole thing happened, when police people and some of our friends and whoever were involved in that initiative, when they tasted this drink, they were like, "Boss, this has come out to be a wonderful drink." Because Amla is something which everyone loves, but lot of us have stopped drinking for the amount of sugar that goes into it. People are conscious about sugar, and there's a lot of sugar that goes in Ampana. So people are like, "Boss, I'm drinking this Ampana after a long time because of sugar. I've not been drinking it and all." So then the thought came. Then people are like, "Okay, why don't you commercialize it?" And we're like, okay, so again, it seems to be a thing. So, but see how we landed here. You don't sit at home and think, what can I do? What product should I launch? What business should I do? You just go with the flow. There's a need in the market. There's a need in the social environment. Whatever it is, just go. As you walk the path, something or the other would certainly come your way. Something would click you. And
yeah, absolutely. I like the Ganna Panna. What is that?
Ganna Panna.
Ganna Panna. Okay, the way
Yeah.
this. Oh, that's lovely, lovely. That's again another innovative, thing that you have come up with.
In fact, when we discovered that thing, we couldn't believe, oh, we have been into sugarcane juice business for the past 8 years, and we never ever thought of making this combination till date. And
So the pandemic has made you think of extremely innovative stuff which can really expand and do wonders.
absolutely, absolutely. See, this pandemic has been a boon for a lot of people who could adapt and who could innovate. And honestly, we owe this product to pandemic and to police people, because only with that zeal to do something for them could we come up with this particular combination. Otherwise, we could have never ever thought of doing it.
Absolutely wonderful, and it has so much of avenue now, for you to really look at so many
Yeah.
avenues.
Now, in fact, we have commercially launched the product, and our product is already there at Fine Foods. That's already there at Malaka Market and a lot of other places. Because, because we have kept it natural. We have not added sugar, preservatives, anything to it. So that whole set of people who would otherwise avoid Ampanna because of sugar are now able to consume it, because I don't know if you're aware, sugarcane juice has a low GI. It's a low glycemic index. So due to that, sugar absorption is very slow. It's not as rapid as you would have with sugar-laden drinks. And for this reason, even diabetics can consume sugarcane juice-based drinks, basically. So yeah, that's what happened now. I have a different segment altogether where people with diabetic.
We lost your voice.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're back. Yeah. I can hear you now. Yeah.
Right. So this pandemic, as you asked the question, how did it impact us? Yes, it did impact us in a huge way. In fact, we didn't have any revenue starting from March till almost August. Yeah, 2nd August is when we commercially launched this product. So for those 4 months, we didn't have any revenue at all. But as I said, the zeal to work was there, so we kept on working. We kept on working on a social initiative.
But the 4 months have given a great innovation to you to be able to blend this, and it's really amazing to know about it. That's fantastic.
Right, and not just Ganapana. In fact, in continuation to the same situation, we also discovered one more wonderful product which we have also launched. So, while interacting with police and all these people, we realized that until the vaccine is being launched, the only way to safeguard ourselves is to build our immunity. That became very clear at a very early stage, that was vaccine nahi aane wala hai abhi jaldi, it's going to take time. And until then, what is the savior for us is probably having a good immunity. So then again, we started thinking that, okay, what can be done for building immunity? And that's where again we went back to our ancient wisdom. So we like to bring things from the cultural roots and then modernize it and present it for the new generation, basically.
Excellent.
So we went back, we found out we studied few things, we did some more research, and then we came up with another product which is called as Ayush Shots. Okay, so Ayush Shots is basically an immunity boosting shot. And it is made from basically all the natural ingredients like lemon, ginger, turmeric, and so on. So it's an alternative to your kada. Practically every morning getting up, making kada is not something which all of us can easily do. So they thought, okay, looking at the current pandemic situation, it's important that everybody must consume kada, but not everybody has the bandwidth to make it. So why not come up with an alternative solution for that? And that's how we came this product. It's a small, tiny bottle called as Ayush.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's like you open a new bottle every day in the morning and just drink it, and that's the best way to start your day.
Super. That's nice again. So that brings another product. Wow, that's lovely.
These are the two
Okay.
products that we have launched during the pandemic. They were developed and we did R&D, but we kept
And right now it is in stores, right? Right now it is with Fine Food.
right
So
now. The stores we have launched currently in Fine Food. They're available online. We have our Facebook shop and everything. And in fact, we're also tied up with Ruby Hospital now. So what Ruby Hospital is doing is basically, since it's an immunity boosting shot and made from natural ingredients, so they are giving it to all the inpatients also as a part of their daily diet, and they have put it in a discharge kit also. And especially they're recommending all the family members, whoever is COVID patient or something, their family members, to prevent them from catching the virus. They're recommending this particular product. So that's, yeah. So that instills a lot of trust in the product also by others, that because that's the kind
and
of
when hospitals have approved it for that sake. So
absolutely. And in fact, for us, it's a really nice thing that hospitals are going out of their way and recommending natural products instead of medicines. So that's a huge, I will say, a satisfaction to us that we could contribute something to that fraternity in a natural way.
fantastic. I think Kirti, you should definitely leave your details in the comments on this particular video where people can go and probably try out the Gannapana or whatever is there. So do leave them. And great. I think it's really fantastic knowing this whole story and just loving this idea of, a sugarcane juice getting transformed into such a big business and now so many things coming out of it. It's fantastic.
One last thing, in case I missed that, we are now incubated with IIM Bangalore, and we are a part of Atal Innovation Mission, the thing also. So yeah, that's another thing. And see, for us, why that was very important, or very I would say a point of celebration, was somewhere we started with a vision that okay, sugarcane juice is not looked upon. People kind of look down, and CCD is a proud thing for them. So when we took the sugarcane juice to the IIM platform, for us it was like, okay, boss, we have got that deserved every somewhere. I mean, वो गन्ने का juice, that sugarcane roadside drink, now we have taken it to a very prestigious platform where people like IIM Bangalore, who are essentially the business experts, they are believing in this as a potential business and this as a scalable business. So that was a really a moment of, I would say, a proud feeling for us.
That's pretty proud a moment. Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. And I'm sure a lot of women out here are going to be inspired by the, way this business is, and listening to what you have really done will give them definitely a lot of ideas as to what needs to be, done in their business. Not necessarily it has to be very innovative. In your own business, there are some things that you can really look into and take care of.
Yes.
Fabulous. It has been a great honor to have you here on this platform and come and talk, and it's fantastic. So, just on a last note, what do you think about this particular platform, Transform Her? What are your thoughts about this initiative?
I really admire you, Tejaswini, for whatever you're doing on this platform. It's a wonderful platform, and in fact, it's really nice that you have focused it for women, because there are a lot of women who have started their ventures or who are scaling up their ventures now, and to have such kind of an ecosystem where they can support each other, they can share knowledge. Especially, I like the way you have created this knowledge sharing platform. Because as you rightly mentioned, there are a lot of marketing platforms available in the market where everybody is pushing their products and trying to do a commerce over there, like buy, sell. Yeah, that's an essential part of business, but still having a focused platform more towards educating women, more towards empowering them, that's something which is really, I would say, unique aspect of taking things in the way you are doing it. And I really appreciate and I encourage more and more women to come here, share their knowledge, so that many others who are starting can get motivated, can get inspired, and maybe that could be a wonderful ecosystem as we go forward for each of us. So
Absolutely,
that,
absolutely. And the Transform Her initiative actually has come up from this space, or this thought that, I know that women need support. Somehow they're very hesitant to ask about it. And the whole idea is, when you see somebody who's doing really good, it really inspires you. You never know who would be inspired by you, or you never know who is going to inspire you. So we want to get everybody out here, because
absolutely.
yeah.
That makes sense, because sometimes it might be just a small thing that kind of clicks you, and then you feel that okay, I can do it, kind of thing. And it's very important, especially during COVID times. I have been talking to a lot of people, and I've been inspiring them, because there's a lot of negativity, and there's a lot of I will say stress around. So yeah, we all are going through a stressful situation. There's no denial to it. But this is the time when we have to actually support each other, and each of us have to find out ways to innovate, to adapt to the new situation or the new normal, what we are calling as. If we just stick to what we were doing and expect things to go back to the way they were, I think then we might miss the bus in that whole pursuit. And the earlier we adapt, the better it is for us and for our venture, basically.
True, true, true. Absolutely. So we started with this Transform Her initiative exactly at the time when COVID started. April, our first batch launched, and in spite of all these, difficult situations, people inside the program have been able to do really good, really well in their businesses. And where outside there's so much of people thinking about this not happening, it's not working, whereas inside the program there are people who are coming up with different stuff and going ahead in what they're doing. So
In
that's
fact, I would compliment you by saying that probably you could think much ahead of time, and get this whole platform ready just at the moment people needed it most. Because earlier people were not as much into this virtual sessions and webinars as they are now because of COVID. So I think you were there at the right time, and I'm glad that you could support and help a lot of women to pass through this so-called difficult time of COVID scenario, basically.
absolutely great, great. Thank you so much, Kirti. It's really been a pleasure. And just in case, there are a few people out here. If you have any questions for Kirti, please go ahead and ask them, and she should be able to take it up. Otherwise, if you want to ask the question, if you're watching the recording of this and you want to ask a question, do leave the question, and Kitty, you would be able to, probably browse through it a couple of times and see whether you can answer that, or I can help you out saying that, this is a question that has come in. So,
Sure thing, certainly do that.
okay. Okay, fantastic. And thank you so much, Kirti, for being here. It's really been a pleasure.
Thank you so
And
much,
yeah,
Tejaswini, for inviting, and all the best to you, and may you inspire many more women to do well in their life. Thank you so much.
thank